There's something uneasy about watching a warrior step down. Not because it's unexpected, no. In Terran Armstead's case, it was written between the lines for a while. But it doesn't make it easier. There's a weight to it. A sense that something larger has been set in motion. Not just a player retiring, but a shift. A vacuum. And no, it's not about replacing talent. That's measurable. What isn't is everything else. You don't just wake up one day and realize your body's done. It whispers. Quietly. Slowly. Until suddenly, it's screaming every time you move. Every time you take a hit. Every time Sunday rolls around, and you know it'll cost you Wednesday, Thursday, maybe more. That's where Armstead was. Not just beat up, broken in pieces, and still dragging himself out there like it didn't matter. Like every snap didn't take a toll he never signed up to pay. And he talked about it. Finally, on Nightcap, with Shannon Sharpe and Chad Johnson, Terran let some of it out. Not the usual clean retirement press release. Not the "I'm grateful for the journey" fluff. No, he said it how it was. Brutally. I literally couldn't walk, he said. Not like I didn't want to practice. I physically couldn't. I couldn't move. And you sit with that for a second and realize, this man was playing NFL football while most of us would be laid up in bed with a brace and a bottle of pills. Here's the part that stings. This wasn't new. He's been managing this since year 3. Not 3 years ago. Year 3 of his career. That's nearly a decade of managing pain that would have retired lesser men 5 times over. So why did he keep going? That's the part people miss. It's not money. It's not fame. It's pride, purpose, something else entirely. Now Miami, they saw it coming. Of course they did. You don't draft a tackle like Patrick Paul in the 2nd round unless you're already planning for the post-Armstead era. They knew. And yet, what does ready even mean? Paul's the guy now, sure. But how do you step into shoes that have been dragging a broken knee across the trenches for years, carrying a line that desperately needed stability? Paul says he's built for this. Strong words. But strength on paper? That's not what this position demands. It demands resilience that doesn't show up in measurements. It demands failure. A lot of it. Pain. Public criticism. Doubt. And yet, there he is, being handed the blind side. The most unforgiving patch of turf on the field. And let's not pretend the line's future is entangled in this transition. It is. How Paul adapts. How he reacts to being beaten. To the mistakes that will inevitably come. This will set the tone for Miami's offense. It's not about plug and play. It's about culture. Continuity. And the hole Armstead leaves behind isn't just physical. It's spiritual. The guy was a captain without the badge. The kind who didn't need to yell to lead. He'd just be there. Hurt, yeah, but present. That mattered. And it's gone now. Just like that. So what fills the silence? That's what nobody's really talking about. It's easy to say, next man up. It's harder to reckon with what's lost. The OL mastermind stuff. That wasn't a side hustle. That was Terran building something beyond himself. Educating. Lifting others. Putting knowledge into the hands of young guys who might never meet him, but will benefit from him anyway. That's legacy. Quiet legacy. He said he'd need a knee replacement. Not might. Would. Like it's just another step. And maybe for him, it is. But think about the absurdity. This was a professional athlete who couldn't walk 3 days after games, whose knee is shot beyond repair, who still showed up and fought. That's not just toughness. It's something twisted and noble, and maybe even a little tragic. And it leaves you wondering, how many other players are out there, just like him, barely holding it together, hiding pain behind pads and helmets, being cheered for hits that send a shiver up their own spine? That's the ugly truth behind the spectacle. The part fans don't see. The cost. Now Miami moves forward. They have to. The game doesn't stop. But if you think this is just a position swap, think again. This is a soul shift. A rhythm adjustment. Tua's blindside isn't just about protection. It's about trust. And trust takes time. Can Paul earn it? Maybe. But he won't be handed it. Not with this standard. And here's the thing. Paul's not just following Armstead. He's stepping into a legacy forged in silence, pain, and persistence. That's a high bar. The kind that doesn't show up on film. You only see it in the spaces between the plays. in the limp back to the sideline, in the way teammates talk about a guy when he's not around. So no, this isn't a clean handoff. It's messy. It's emotional. It's uncertain. And maybe that's what makes it real.